What is going on, Patriot Outpost? It has been a while since we've been live here on this channel. I think back like the Roe v. Wade decisions, last time I went live over here. The good news, the very, very good news is that I'm going to be spending a lot more time over here now that we're carving out time. I wish I could have done it in the lead up to the 2022 midterms that we just went through last night and are continuing today. And it looks like we're going to be continuing to talk about this until at least Friday or Saturday, because somehow Arizona has not fucking figured out how to run an election over the past 2 years. I imagine once it gets confirmed that Kari Lake will indeed be the governor of Arizona, I think she'll take care of that. But until then, we just have to sit here and wait as, things are fortified, as machines break down, all these crazy things, especially in Maricopa County. How does that happen in Maricopa County? But there's still a lot of votes left to be counted in Arizona and a couple big things on the line there. We do have some things to talk about, including Florida. Now, we heard a lot about a red wave in the lead up to this 2022 midterm. And I was convinced it was going to be a red wave, not necessarily the tsunami that some people predicted nationwide, but I did think it was going to be more than it was. I'm a little disappointed in the results. However, there's a lot of people who are acting like it's the end of the world. There's Democrats who are acting like they somehow got a victory just because they didn't lose by as much as they thought they would, things like that. It's very weird, but it is undeniable that Florida, specifically Florida, it was a red tsunami that swept Florida, a state that has been a swing state, a state that Ron DeSantis won, by less than 1% 4 years ago. Not the case now. Not the case now. It is a massive fucking total victory. And it's incredible to watch. It's incredible to see. Here in Florida, it just feels great. It really does. And I'm seeing people come in here. We're going to talk about Florida. We're going to talk about Ron DeSantis's historic victory. We're going to talk about Marco Rubio with a massive landslide victory as well. Anna Paulina Luna winning Charlie Crist's old seat by a lot, not just a little bit, by a lot. Florida was definitely a red wave. For the rest of the country, not so much, but definitely some big gains. It does look like the Republicans are going to take the House by a small margin. Could that be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 votes potentially? That they might have the edge there in the House. Maybe the Senate is the one that's going to be very, very hotly contested. But I'm going to go over a couple of things that I really thought was impactful from last night. But let me see what you guys are saying. Let me see what you guys are saying. I see CJ in the chat, Lance Johnson in the chat, Judah Khan, my man. Fallout Zone. Howdy, my fellow Florida man. Ryan, proud to be a Floridian. A lot of Floridians, very proud. Very, very proud. And full disclosure, I was there. Last night, I was there in Tampa for the Ron DeSantis celebration party. Of course, most people that went there expected it to be a celebration, even though there's no guarantee of that. Not too many people thought that it would be a 20 percentage point victory. That's what Ron DeSantis did. He obliterated Charlie Crist. It wasn't even close. From barely winning against Andrew Gillum, a couple years ago, to now just obliterating the hell out of Charlie Crist. That bitch better fucking retire for good. That's all I got to say about that. But it was awesome. It was fucking awesome. The energy was great. And I think that's one of the reasons that I ended up just slightly disappointed about the results nationwide. Because if you could have felt the energy in this room here in Florida as you see this just massive Republican onslaught, once you got outside that and started realizing, wait, what's going on in Pennsylvania? Fetterman? Really? Fetterman, they elected a retard, basically? And yeah, but hey, well, what are you going to do? We're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do. What else do we got here? We got Robert Kerr. We got Alex McCarthy, Noble Victory, Lulu Blue. We got My Nerdy Home in the chat. Yes, you are modded on this channel, Steph. Good. We got Camille Cunningham. We got Brett. We got green-haired anti-liberal Deborah Cooper, Astral Walker. Yes. Thank you guys for being here. Anthony Gaming for Aussie, $2. Ron DeSantis has support here in Australia. Ron DeSantis certainly had a lot of support last night. And let's go pull this up The one I typically use when we look at these election maps normally is just the Fox News one because I used it for years and I'm kind of used to it. Let's go to Florida, shall we? Let's start off with Florida because that is the best possible news. Just incredible here in Florida. The election results. Governor, look at this. Miami-Dade County. It was the thing that a lot of people were talking about last night. Miami-Dade County went for DeSantis, swung for DeSantis, which has not happened since I think Jeb Bush did it in like 2002 or something like that. But even then it was just barely. This is a landslide. He won by 12 percentage points in Miami-Dade County. Ron DeSantis, what he was able to do, hold on, I got to get that guy out of here. Get that guy out of here. Fucking hide that bitch. Sorry, 69 Mega. You're done here. Done here, sex bots. Be gone. But what he was able to do with the Latino population, with women, with all these inroads that Ron DeSantis made, it's incredibly fucking impressive. That's why you see a number like this, 59%. It's basically 60-40. That's basically what he did to Charlie Crist, winning by 1.5 million votes. 1.5 million. And you look at Marco Rubio, he's not that far behind. You know, he ends up winning by 1.3 million votes, something like that. 57-41 over Demings, not even close. And then really some of these House results, the one that I wanted to mention, Anna Paulina Luna, you know, winning handily in what is a pickup for the Republicans here. And across the state, there's now not a single like statewide held position that's Democrat. It is all Republicans. That has not happened in a long, long time. So we did not get this red wave, red tsunami that we expected nationwide, but we definitely got it here in Florida. There is no doubt. You know what I want to show you guys? I want to show you this. Let me go to Benny Johnson because I know Benny tweeted it out. And big shout out to Benny Johnson. Benny's the reason we were able to get VIP access to the DeSantis rally on Saturday, which was an absolute blast. Seeing the energy behind that was crazy and awesome. Benny Johnson, a real fucking dude. Go follow. I mean, if you're following this channel, in all likelihood, you're following Benny Johnson. Let's just be real. You got a much bigger platform than me over here on my political channel. No doubt about that. But this map shows votes cast in 2022 versus 2020. Every single county, everyone red kingdom. Look at this. The shift in margin in every single county. Look at that trend up for Republicans. Crazy. Crazy. But that's the power of Ron DeSantis right now. That is the power of Ron DeSantis. And, you know, seeing him up there speaking, listening to people that have been talking about him, like you can see why he's so beloved. You know, he's a guy that, you know, Trump's endorsement is the reason that he ends up winning in 2018, you know, with that push to get over Gillum. And, you know, Trump definitely was a big part of that. And what that has led to was DeSantis being able to get to power and DeSantis being able to run Florida the way that he wanted to, make an example out of everyone. This is about freedom. This is about COVID restrictions. This is about fucking jab mandates. This is about people fucking with your family and fucking with your children. This is about woke corporations that he refuses to bend the knee to. And it's great to see somebody actually govern that way. That's what is so powerful about Ron DeSantis, and he's certainly not going to back down to any of these people. So a huge, huge victory with Ron DeSantis. Let's see. David, I see you're saying also didn't help that rhinos like Ben Shapiro kept sowing division within the GOP by trying to pit Trump versus DeSantis and criticizing all Trump picks. There's a lot of that out there right now. And to be fair, Trump did not help himself with his Ron DeSanctimonious comments. He did not help himself by, you know, taking a little jab on Truth Social today as well. I'm going to tell you guys this. The bottom line is that if these guys are not on the same team, it's not going to go well in 2024. And now that doesn't mean they have to run together or anything like that. But if people continue to try to sow that division when I don't think there's a ton there, it's going to be bad news. If people continue to try to push that, it will not go well. Okay. Everything I've heard from a couple of people and being around the DeSantis campaign and things like that, over the past couple days and weeks, that division is something that people want to generate right now. They actively want to generate, and you can see why. You can see why they'd want to. You can see why they'd want to make Trump upset. You can see why they want to make DeSantis upset, because if these guys are on the same page, which I've heard that they are, how do you fucking beat that? How do you beat that if those guys are on the same page? So that's what I've heard coming from some people in the know. So even though, again, I will say I love Trump. I'm a Trump supporter. I'd vote for Trump again, 100%. I think it was a little bit silly of him a couple days before the midterms to take that shot at Ron DeSantis. And of course, he endorsed him for governor. He said he voted for him after, but it was a bad look because it gave the media the opening. It gave the media the opening that they needed to try to push that division. All right, let's see here. We got a couple more super chats. Thank you, guys. Samuel, the Infamous for 5. Pennsylvania just can't stop porking themselves, can they? We're going to talk a little bit about, we might as well talk about Pennsylvania right now. Actually, let's see if I can go over all, though. Now we'll talk Pennsylvania. We'll move on to Pennsylvania. Thank you very much for the super chat, Samuel. And yes, Pennsylvania, pretty big disappointment. Pretty big disappointment for Pennsylvania, specifically right here. Fetterman and Oz, and it wasn't really that close. Pennsylvania, they appear to have elected a man who can barely string sentences together, a man who doesn't seem like he's coherent, a man who actually seems like there's a problem with him, right? I'm not doing that to take a shot. I'm not doing that to, be super mean or anything. If you've listened to John Fetterman, if you've watched John Fetterman speak, Minor Home says he's a potato. That's what he is. And the sad part is he's able to beat Oz because, and you know why? This is a criticism I will have. Oz is a terrible fucking candidate. He's not a Republican. He's not a conservative. He's a fucking leftist. He's been a leftist for a long time. He's held leftist positions. He didn't do the work that he needed to in this. I think they thought that he could walk in there and that you could just stamp an R on his name against another bad candidate in Fetterman and give him a Trump endorsement. He'd be good. Wasn't the case. Was not the case. Now, does this make sense? Is this the most secure election in Pennsylvania history? Is this really the outcome? That's what we have to go on right now. And then Shapiro winning by that margin. I kind of expected Shapiro to win. I didn't think it was going to be this close. So Pennsylvania overall, that's a rough one. That's a rough one for the Republicans for sure. So thank you, Samuel. Jake the Movie Geek. Right now, I'm leaning towards Trump not running and putting DeSantis up for 2024. He just has the political smarts on how to work the media. I feel Trump would just bring up the 2020 election, and I think we need to move on from that. Thank you, Jake. I appreciate the sentiments. Johnny the Wiz Kid, can you talk about Texas? I'm happy Abbott won, but I'm shocked and sad that the Myra Flores lost the South District. She won back in June, and it was short-lived. Yes, we can talk about Texas. And Jake, I do appreciate that super chat. When it comes to that, like I said, I hope I kind of explained where I'm at with that. I think Trump's running. He's going to announce on November 15th, which is my birthday, by the way, that he's running. We've heard that for a long time. Trump's not going to take this 2020 loss sitting down. He's going to come back. And in the off chance that he was beaten in a primary by somebody, do you think that would fly? Do you think that person would be able to be successful with Trump losing a primary? No. So again, if you want to fucking take this shit serious, these guys have to be on the same page. They have to be on the same team. That's very fucking important. Very fucking important. But let's bring up Texas here. We can definitely go to the great state of Texas, where I do think it was a positive night from Texas. It was a positive night from Texas, indeed. Let's take a look at this. Boom. See right here, Greg Abbott fucking beat Beto O'Rourke's ass. Not even close. All right. Not even close. Over a 10% win over fake Mexican Beto O'Rourke, that bitch. So the one thing, though, that I think was a disappointment is here, right here. Now, this is a redrawn district, and that's one of the problems that Mayra Flores had. In a redrawn district that did not necessarily bode well for her. She lost. I think that was one that a lot of people thought was at least going to be close. If not, she was just going to win outright. So that was a big disappointment in Texas. However, this one, with De La Cruz picking up this one, Texas 15, I think that's positive as well. But overall, these statewide numbers, I think that bodes very well for Republicans, especially Texas, that wasn't necessarily as red as a lot of people expected it to be back in 2020. So overall, that was very solid. Now, we want to go to a little overall as well to give you guys a good perspective. Right now, as it finishes its countdown, the Senate is going to be very, very tight. We already know that here in Georgia, let's go to the Senate races. Let's pull up the actual map. This is the first time I've ever done any election coverage. So you guys we're doing it live. We're figuring it out live. Georgia, right here. Warnock at 49.42 and Herschel Walker sitting there at 48.5%. When it comes to Georgia, if you didn't know, you got to win 50% of the vote. If you don't win 50% of the vote, it goes to a special election runoff. Just like we saw, that's how Warnock got in. It's going to happen again. I believe it's the second week of December that'll take place. Don't quote me on that. But that is guaranteed. We will not know the results of this until December, where we have a special election runoff. Arizona right now is where all eyes should be, because Arizona, all the problems in Maricopa County, all this fucking bullshit that's going on, somehow in Maricopa, 20% of the machines just suddenly don't work right, and you got to put them in a little box, you got to take them somewhere else. This is bullshit. The fact that Florida gets millions and millions and millions more votes counted than Arizona does, and they do it in 4 or 5 hours. Arizona has already said they're not going to finish up till Friday at the earliest. That is bullshit. And how can anyone expect election integrity when those types of things are happening? With that being said, the more votes that are coming in now are from Election Day and are heavily favoring Kari Lake and Blake Masters. So that we're going to break down some of those numbers in a little bit. But a 5% deficit with 66% reporting in, that's a lot to overcome. I've heard the Masters camp does think that they will have the votes based on where these votes are coming from. And then Nevada right now, Laxalt, I'm confident he's going to win. 77% reported in. I know this hasn't officially been called yet. I feel like that will be good based on the lead and based how we've seen things trending. And I do think that Joe Lombardo is good to go for governor there. Great dude. Had the pleasure of meeting him once. So very, very happy. I think that those are going to play out just fine, but they are still too close to officially have been called yet. So we do need to put that out there. Wisconsin, Johnson, that was a close race, but he does pull it out by about a percentage point in Wisconsin. That was up in the air for a while, but very, very solid. Very, very solid hold right there. Let's talk about Georgia, because there's something interesting going on here in Georgia. All right. We've got a split. We've got some split tickets here for Kemp and Herschel Walker. Now, this is big. This is a big victory for Kemp over Stacey Abrams. Not even close. Now, this was not necessarily the same way several years ago when Kemp came into office. It was much tighter, much tighter than this. He's made some strides. And this is all despite the fact that Trump has been after him for a while. Right? Trump was trying to get people to primary Kemp. It did not work very well. And Kemp is kind of distanced himself from Trump after 2020 and after Kemp did not have his back the way that the president wanted him to have his back in terms of election integrity. Despite that, he's obviously increased his popularity in Georgia. Kemp has also not necessarily been too fond or endorsed very heavily Herschel Walker. And you're seeing a pretty big split here. You got 5%, 53% come out for Kemp, only 48% come out for Herschel Walker. Now, I don't think you can blame that on the libertarians. I know a lot of people are getting all over libertarians. Hey, listen, they're going to vote for who they fucking want. It's your job to earn those votes. That's what you have to do. So I do think that I do think that people should be a little bit worried about this. You know, that the heavily Trump-backed candidate in Herschel Walker gets 48.5% of the vote. And Kemp, who, to Trump's credit, a couple nights ago when he did give out his list of everybody you should vote for, he did include Governor Kemp. You know, so you have to give credit to him. But for the past 2 years, it hasn't been that way. Has not been that way at all. So what happens in Georgia for this special election, right? When we're not going to have a month lead up into this special election for people to continue campaigning, things like that. Trump's about to announce he's going to be president. What does the Trump backing do in Georgia for Herschel Walker for that push? Does Kemp push hard for Herschel Walker? Because I think if Kemp does, with his popularity, because he has not done it yet so far, I think if Kemp does push, if these guys get on the same page, then maybe that can push Herschel Walker over. I know a lot of people want to say, oh, the libertarians, 2% voted, they're going to go for Walker. If 2% of people voted libertarian, what do you think is going to motivate them to come out and vote for Herschel Walker? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, that's the state of Georgia. Really interesting split, really interesting numbers here in Georgia. What else? We're talking about good things. We got to talk about bad things too. All right. And when I look at this entire map, let's do the governor map here. When I look at this map, there's some things that are positive. There's some things that are negative for me. This Shapiro win in Pennsylvania, that's way higher than I thought it was going to be. 55% of the vote. I thought he was going to win, but I thought it'd be closer. Let's see. Whitmer right here, 54%. Tudor Dixon, 43%. I thought that was going to be closer. I think that Whitmer is a fucking evil piece of shit. I think she's terrible. And I think that's really one of the big takeaways I have from this entire election night. Here in Wisconsin, here in Michigan, here in Pennsylvania, right? These states specifically, these are very important states for these 2024 elections. And these states had an opportunity to push back against the COVID restrictions and the lockdowns, the totalitarianism, all that shit. They didn't. And I think that's a problem. I really expected this to be closer than it was with everything that's been going on in Michigan. Tony Evers was close, but, you know, Tony Evers, the incumbent, he's going to maintain there in Wisconsin. So it's tough. It's tough. Ohio, hey, I loved it, Ohio. We got to talk about the new senator from the state of Ohio. If I can get my map right here, look at this. Look at this. Vance absolutely dominating. Hold on. Where's it going? Let's actually go to see the numbers. North Carolina, Ohio, J.D. Vance, 53%. Now, this is a place right here where Donald Trump's endorsement was massive for J.D. Vance. You know, J.D. Vance he's been backed from Trump for a while. He was losing early on, but they did also bring a lot of money from the establishment Republicans into this race as well to start running ads against Tim Ryan. So there you have a time where establishment Republicans and Donald Trump teamed up for J.D. Vance, and you had a big pickup here in Ohio with this number, 53-46 for J.D. Vance. So I think that's really, really positive out of Ohio, which is always a very important swing state that we've seen in recent years. Where else do we need to go? We need to talk about Arizona, specifically about Arizona. And this is where all the fuckery is going on right now. Still, we are sitting here. It has been at 67% all day. All day, that's what it's been. Why? Where are the votes? Where are these fucking ballots? Why are you not counting this? This is fucking despicable in Arizona right now. This is why people have no faith in the election system. This is why after a 2020, where Maricopa County, where Arizona was such a big fucking deal, right? How do you not get this fixed? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the person who's running the election, the Secretary of State, Hobbs, the person who's running for the Democrat fucking governor spot. That's who it is. This is the fucking person in charge. No wonder it didn't get fixed. No wonder. Now, early voting, absentee vote, like all this shit is favoring the Democrats, but the actual in-person stuff, heavily skewing towards the Republicans. Carrie Lake, I know we can't call it. Carrie Lake is going to win. Kari Lake is going to win, right? Based on where all these votes are still coming from, Kari Lake, I think she has the votes. She's going to win this. I think you can almost bet on that at this point. This one I'm worried about because that's a much bigger gap. And it's interesting too, right, that we have these numbers here. Now, obviously, Kelly is an incumbent. Hobbs is not. So maybe that's where this difference is. But for Lake and Masters, who've been so linked for this thing the entire time, I'm a little bit surprised that there is this gap here. This is going to be a lot to make up. I think it can happen. And it needs to. Because again, we go to these midterm homes. We're sitting at 49 Republicans. Now, like I said, the three that are outstanding right now are Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona. Georgia's going to go to the runoff. I think Nevada is good. I think Laxalt is good. I think you can almost give that to the Republicans, which is 50, which would be 50. The problem is, if you lose in Georgia, which I'm worried about Herschel Walker in the runoff. I am really worried about that based on what we see now. I'm worried about Herschel Walker. We got to get him some more support. Maybe Ron DeSantis comes up there and campaigns for him. I don't fucking know. But we got to get Herschel Walker some more support, push him over in Georgia, but then Masters in Arizona. If none of those are won, then we're sitting at 50-50 still. And who holds the tiebreaker? Kamala Harris. So that's very, very important. Nevada, I think, is in the bag. You can count that. We need one more. Now, when it does come to the House, we're sitting at 207 confirmed. We need 218. I think that's going to happen. I personally think that that's not going to be a problem. Now, I don't think it's going to be a ton more. I think you might end up looking at 222, 223, something like that. But there were some solid pickups, including, I thought there's some positivity in New York, guys. I really do. Which surprises me. Listen, I know a lot of people were hoping Zeldin could come up and take over Hochul. This is way closer than I think a lot of people thought. This is way closer than I think a lot of people would have thought, months ago. Maybe not as close as we wanted it to be after all the momentum before that, but that's pretty big. It really is. Now, it's not an incumbent. No one voted for because, of course, Cuomo and all that shit. But that's a pretty positive result. Another positive result. Look at Long Island here. We picked up 2 Republican seats in Long Island as well. New York 1, New York 2, New York 3, New York 4. 2 of these before this were blue. We picked a couple up in New York on Long Island. So I think that that's pretty positive. Now, some pretty close margins in some of these places, right? 51% to 48% over Gillen. That was a big one right here that a lot of people were looking at, D'Esposito versus Gillen. So some positives coming out of New York, which is surprising, because in my mind, here's the way I think about it. And maybe I'm thinking about it weird. Maybe it doesn't make any sense. The way I think about it, I think that a lot of liberty-minded people, freedom-minded people who live in New York probably moved. I think a lot of those people did move. We have that data. We know that people have been moving from New York. So if you imagine that a lot of these liberty-minded folks are moving to some place like Tennessee or Texas or the great state of Florida, if you think that, and they're still making inroads in New York, in fucking Long Island, I think that's a big deal. And I think there's a lot of positivity surrounding that. So I think New York is one of the only states where you did see a little bit of that referendum on lockdowns and on those things that have been going on. Obviously, it's not like you're going to sit there and you're going to flip it red or anything. But, I do think that there's some momentum there. I think there's some positivity right there. There's good reason to be happy. Is there anything else I specifically wanted to talk about? New York is lost. Yeah. New York is lost. All right, let me catch up with some of these super chats. You guys have been fucking blowing it up. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I got my peeps over on Rumble as well. Tucker just said Arizona County should go on or could go on till Thanksgiving. I certainly hope not. But you never know. Hopefully he was just being a little facetious there. Johnny the Whiz Kid, I read half of this. Can you talk about Texas? I'm happy Abbott won, but I'm shocked and sad Myra Flores lost South District. She won back in June. It was short-lived. We talked about that a little bit. Thank you, Johnny. Samuel the Infamous for 5. Great things about Wyoming. Open carry, low population, no more Cheney. Yes. Yes, indeed. And Samuel for another 5. Last super chat, then back to work, but I'll be listening. Hijabi Gamer says hello. What's up, Hijabi Gamer? She is fucking awesome. Gabriel Knight for 20. Yesterday's a massive black pill. If the GOP can't win in a blowout with these horrendous economic conditions, I feel like the country is lost. People are so indoctrinated, they'll continue to vote against their wallets. Yes, so that is something we need to talk about. I'll put out a Twitter thread. I want to show you guys this. I need to post it to all my other social medias as well. I've been trying to keep up with everything, but it's been tough. It's been tough to keep up with all this shit. Oh, here you go. I'll show you guys this really quick. It might echo a little bit, but whatever. It'll be all right. This is right when Fox News put up the check mark at the DeSantis celebration that he'd won. It was a fucking awesome, awesome night. And of course, Anna Paulina Luna, we talked about that just a little bit. Anna Paulina Luna did pick up Charlie Crist's old seat in Florida. That was exciting as fuck. I got to meet her not that long ago. I got to meet her on Saturday at the DeSantis rally on Saturday. I got to talk to her for a little bit. She's fucking incredible. So shout out right here. There's Anna Paulina Luna. Really bad picture of me, but a great picture of her. So what are you going to do? That's just how it works. So big shout out to her and big shout out to this red wave that really, really did come to Florida. What a babe, says Chris. You ain't lying. CJ for $10 over on Streamlabs. Hey, Ryan, happy for you, bro. My state stayed blue, unfortunately. We have too many brainwashed leftist sheep here. Let's go, Brandon. Yes, let's go, Brandon is right. Steven, you need to gear up and run for public office. I don't think that that's in the cards for me, my friend. I think I am far too, I say exactly what I mean. I swear a lot, and there's a lot of clips of me out there. And I'm not someone as established in the public eye as someone like Donald Trump. I do appreciate the sentiment, though, Stephen. You never know what can happen in the future, but I certainly have no plans for that right now. But I do appreciate it. Locked and Loaded, yes, Joe from Locked and Loaded Latinos did interview her about 2 years ago, and it was really, she posted the picture they had together. Very, very cool. And I got to spend some time with Locked and Loaded Latinos over the past couple of weeks because we were in Orlando. They're fucking awesome. Rolo and Joe are awesome, awesome people. I love them, and I'm just really, really happy that really happy that I got to know them better, and I wish them all the success in the world. Gabe Knight, when it comes to your super chat about the black pill, I don't think camo suit jacket, says my nerdy hum. All right, we got to talk about the camo suit jacket. Yeah, hold on. We do got to talk about that. This might be the best picture of it. Now, this is me and Lisa Marie Booth, who was also there. She was a fucking sweetheart. She was awesome. Look at this jacket. Listen, I had this camo jacket. I didn't know when I was going to wear it. I never had a good time. Never a better time. You know what? Let me fucking get it right now. Hold on. Where is it? Got to turn the lights on. Let's get the same outfit. I'm getting the same outfit right now. That's what we'll do. I kind of got a camo under thing on. What I got in here? Yeah, I brought a tie in case I needed it. What else I got in my pocket? Still got all my fucking sunglasses and shit. But yeah, I figured, listen, when am I going to have a better time to wear this camo jacket? This thing. Never a better time to wear a camo jacket than a Ron DeSantis celebration stream. So that's what I decided to do. That's what I fucking decided to do. Why are all the Republican women so hot? Have you seen leftist women? They are the fucking most disgusting people on the planet, all right? Like, just not saying everybody votes Democrat, but I'm just saying, the hardcore lefties. They are the ugliest women in the world. Conservative girls, they're hot as fuck. Like, what? They just are. They just are. See? You got my nerdy home, right? Conservative Latina in the chat, hot as shit, right? You guys understand what I'm saying, okay? You guys know how it works. But back to address the super chat. What was I going to say? Massive black pill. The GOP can't win. That is a problem. What is going on right now. And I think it's indicative of voters and where everybody's head's at. Just because inflation's at a fucking 40, 50-year high, just because the economy is fucking in shambles, just because Joe Biden's sending millions and millions and millions of dollars to fucking Ukraine, right? Not all voters are going to be focused on those things anymore. The left has been very, very good at appeals to emotion instead of logic. They've made a lot of inroads there. That's why you're seeing things like this. I can pull it up because I think I had it bookmarked. I saw Jack Posobiec tweet about it. Look at this. Look at the fucking differences here. If not for voters under 30, it would have been a red wave. Over 65, Republican plus 13. 45 to 64, Republican plus 11. 30 to 44, D plus 2. 18 and 29, D plus 28. This is not because, the messaging about inflation, no, that's not what this is about. This is about the fucking culture war. And that's why I think Florida and Ron DeSantis did so well, because there is no doubt that was not just about politics. That's about the fucking culture war. That's what the Floridians made it about. That's what Ron DeSantis, the Florida Republicans, made it all about. This is about fighting back against woke corporations like Disney who are trying to advocate the sexualization of children. That's something that plays well with women, with Latinos, right? That's something that is real, that really does play very fucking well. And when you do these appeals to emotion, it doesn't have to be fake. It doesn't have to be not real, but these type of appeals to emotion are effective. That's what the left has been so fucking good at. That's why they've been so focused on taking over the entertainment industry for so long, because they know that politics is downstream from culture. What's downstream? Well, entertainment, right, changes culture. Culture is downstream from entertainment. So if you control entertainment, if you control the media, if you control the movies, industry, all this shit, you can affect change in the culture. That's what they've been trying to do for years, to differing success, some good, some not. That's why you're seeing 18 to 29-year-olds indoctrinated in this way, because of this culture war that the left has been effective at fighting. Republicans need to fucking acknowledge this. You can do all the logical shit you want. You can talk about record high inflation. You can do all this stuff. Biden approval rating record low. But at the end of the day, it's these appeals to emotion that have a big effect on voter turnout. And when all over the country, it's so easy to vote now. I don't mean that in a bad way, but when you could just vote from mail, vote like all this bullshit, it causes people who aren't super engaged, and it makes it really easy for them to vote. That is going to be a reality going forward. And if you don't understand, if you don't get on it, you don't attack that, I don't know what you're going to do. So anyway, I wanted to get back to what I said in this Twitter thread, which kind of just, summarizes my entire thing. Some solid gains for Republicans last night, especially here in Florida, but there's no spinning that there's a disappointment nationwide. With as bad as things are with traditionally big political issues, it should have been much worse. Republicans can't just put garbage candidates up and slap an R next to their name with a Trump endorsement and expect to win. And if people keep ignoring the very real culture war that people are voting on, it's going to be too late to do anything about it. Hey, you're free to do come and talk in here, but don't fucking spam the chat, you cocksucking bitch. You can put your blue waves in and that's fine, but do not spam the chat. So there you go. You guys just got to witness it in real time. But the biggest winner of the night is, I missed it. And if people keep ignoring the very real culture war that people are voting on, it's going to be too late to do anything about it. But the biggest winner of the night undoubtedly is Ron DeSantis in Florida. The energy is real. The desire for freedom is real. DeSantis saw massive gains because he actively took action time and time again to fight the woke mob and keep Florida free. Love it. And I did follow up because a lot of people were a lot of people were like super down when I said that, even though I did start out with the good gains. With all that being said, still overall good outcome, winning back the House, potentially the Senate, some big governor wins, and making gains even in some blue strongholds. Certainly not a failure, just not the wave people were projecting. So I cannot tell you guys how excited I get when we have politicians that acknowledge the culture war, acknowledge how important entertainment is, or not just politicians, but people in entertainment or in the political landscape. A guy like Benny Johnson, right, who came on Friday Night Tights the other day. A guy like Drew Hernandez. These guys fucking get it. They get it, and they understand that the same hurdles, the same obstacles, the same enemies that exist in the political landscape, those are the same fucking people that are the enemies in the entertainment world, because it's all fucking connected. Andrew Breitbart had it right. Politics downstream from culture, culture's downstream from entertainment. So obviously on my other channel, where most of you guys probably know me from, I talk all about the entertainment industry. So it's fucking important. It really, really is. So overall, it was a good night. It was a good night for Republicans. It really, really was. I don't think you should let anybody tell you different. Was it the night it could have been? No. Is it still a disappointment? Yes. Is it concerning for Republicans nationwide, some of the discrepancies in the votes for governor or Senate based on who backed who? Yes. Is it should Republicans be concerned that despite this basically being the worst first 2 years of a presidency of all time, Joe Biden with historic low approval ratings, like Harry Truman level, should they be concerned about that? Yes, they should. But with that being said, we're going to get the House back. We may get control of the Senate as well. And we made some very, very big holds or pickups here and there for governorships, because I do think Kari Lake's going to win. Kari Lake, we're going to be talking about Kari Lake in Arizona the same way we're talking about Ron DeSantis in Florida tonight. That's the reality. She's going to barely get in, just like DeSantis did against Andrew Gillum. And then once she does that, she's going to be a fucking firecracker. She's going to take action. She's going to clean up the voting shit. She's going to take control in Arizona. She's going to effectively govern just like Ron DeSantis did here. And 4 years from now, if Kari Lake's not on a ticket somewhere else, Kari Lake is going to fucking dominate in Arizona. I'm telling you right now, that's the way it is. That's the reality, because that's the type of person she is. These are the type of people we need to push in the Republican Party. The Ron DeSantis of the world, the Kari Lakes of the world. They are the future. And when I say they are the future, that doesn't mean that I'm saying Donald Trump is in the past or anything like that. Don't fucking twist my words. For 2024, both Donald Trump and the future of the Republican Party, we all need to be on the same page. Because if you let the media, and even some people in the conservative media that want there to be a problem, if you let the media divide them, they will lose. That's just the reality of the situation. They will lose. Now, I've said it multiple times. I voted for Donald Trump twice. I would happily vote for him again without a shadow of a doubt. Do I think that Trump will win in 2024 if he runs? He's going to run. Yes, I do. As long as there's not a bunch of fucking drama on the conservative side, I think he'll win. Joe Biden's already announced he's going to run again. So, yeah, I think he'll win. I think that if DeSantis ran, I'm just going to be real. I think that DeSantis would win by a bigger margin, because I don't think you'd get as much haters out there like voting just against Trump. I think they would both win. But we know the reality of the situation. We know that Donald Trump is going to run. We know that Donald Trump, wants to get that back. That is what's going to happen. So it's very important that everybody get together and everybody get on the same page, because what we can't have are Republicans infighting going into the 2024 election. That's what can't happen. That is the way that we'll be guaranteed to fucking lose. All right. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. Another thing we need to keep in mind, let me see if I can pull this up really quick. Here we go. Right here. We're talking about next year. Right? We're talking about next year. Texas, it's red. Florida, deep fucking red. Deep fucking red. Iowa's red. Ohio, I'm impressed with J.D. Vance and what he was able to do there. All the confidence in the world that Ohio's red. North Carolina, it's going to be red. We're not going to have a repeat of last year in North Carolina. I think when you look here, I think when everything plays out in Arizona, it's going to be red. I think it's only going to be more red after Kari Lake does what she needs to do as governor. I also think Nevada will be red based on what we're seeing now. This concerns me, though, right here. Pennsylvania looks like it's become more blue in the most secure and safe election ever. I see Sky here. What's up, Sky? Good to see you. Good to see you here. I'm not super confident in that. All right. I'm not happy with what I saw out of Michigan. They had a chance. They had a chance to vote against a lot of this bullshit. And they kind of doubled down on Whitmer. Minnesota. We didn't get I didn't really dig too much into Minnesota. It's been more blue lately than red, certainly. Wisconsin. What does Wisconsin do? Wisconsin just reelected Tony Evers, but they barely held on to that Senate seat there. That's a toss-up. Like, that's a toss-up. Georgia, it's a split between what you had with Kemp and what you have with Herschel. Now, I do think overall Georgia goes red, but you still got to get to 270. Still got to get to 270. Do you hang on to Wisconsin? Do you pick up a New Hampshire? Right? These are all the things we're going to be looking at over the next couple of years. So, hey, there's things to be concerned about, but there's a lot to be happy about this election midterm. There's no doubt. I got to take this. I'm so fucking hot now. All right. Star Killer for 25. Remember people attacking Trump when the votes hadn't even been counted? If Kari Lake takes Arizona and sets up election investigation unit, it'd be huge. Yes. What did DeSantis do? He fucking cleaned up election shit, and now he won by 20 fucking points. Made it harder for them to cheat. Kari Lake's going to do the same thing. Crypto for 5. Who will Abrams blame now? Probably, listen, Stacey Abrams, she probably knows that she doesn't have too much longer. That diabetes is going to take her. So, I don't know. Maybe she'll just retire. Yes, I got the DeSantis hat. I got it last night at the fucking DeSantis celebration. CJ for 10. How after these last years of crime, inflation, riots, grooming, are we still hearing so many states vote blue? What the fuck is wrong with these people? Hope I explained what I felt in terms of the cultural war and Republicans not leaning too heavily into it, as much as they should at least. Anthony Arribas for 5. Hey, Ryan, what's up, bro? Finally able to catch you on a stream. Been a while. Hope life's treating you well. And the future is the way. Yes, I love Ron DeSantis, everything he's doing. Jorge Barracuda for 10. Bingo, the Zoomer vote went left almost 30 points because of the culture war. Twitch, TikTok have a huge neo-Marxist presence. Saw UN Jeremy last night at DeSantis celebration. Good job, Florida. Fuck yes. And that's what we got to tell people. That is something you guys need to help spread that word. You need to tell, what I would love is for you guys to tell, the political pundits that you watch, the political streamers, like everybody, say, hey, listen, the culture war is fucking important. Those guys who are Geeks and Gamers? They've been talking about that for years. They've been red pilling people for years based off what's going on in the entertainment industry. And it translates directly to what's going on here. And I can't tell you how many people that just by us talking about what Disney's doing to characters, what Amazon's doing to Lord of the Rings, whatever, it wakes people up to realize what's going on in the political landscape, because we have the same fucking enemies. They do the same thing. And when you speak out, when you push back, what do? They call you racist. They call you sexist. They call you homophobic. It's all the same shit over and over and over again. It's because we're fighting the same enemies. And the people on the right, the conservatives, the Republicans, they need to start to understand that in the entertainment industry, the movie, comic book, video games, all this shit, it is all linked and it is all important if you want to actually affect change with the political landscape, because you got to change culture. And that is why that Zoomer vote, why that 18 to 29, why they came out so hard for the left in this election. Because one, they made it really fucking easy for everybody to vote. They're so lazy, you don't have to stand in line anymore. You can do it early, you can do all this shit. That is one thing. But two, they have been indoctrinated. They've successfully indoctrinated them over the past decade. That doesn't turn around overnight. But we need to start acknowledging that that's what has to happen if we want to actually fucking save this country. So that's what you got to tell them. Where am I? Is this video mode? I mean, not really. We're just going. We're just going. Scott, you're awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. All right. Blue-eyed Scorpio for 5. Ryan, I have 11 buttons. I only fascinate. Thank you. Thank you, Blue-eyed Scorpio. Gabriel Knight for 5. Ryan, you're spot on about the culture war. That's why you, Jeremy, Gary, others doing online is crucial. I'm not giving up, but I am frustrated. Yes. Yeah, when I say Zoomers, that's like, it's kind of early or like really young millennials, but Zoomers. That's what that like 18 to 29 is. Because yeah, Moonwalker says 1997 to 2012. So you look at 1997, it's basically 25-year-olds and under. So yeah. Sailor Mercury for 5. Personally, I don't need a red wave. I just want House and Senate, hopefully both to tilt red. Biden is too deranged to have all branches of power. Yes, and I think we did get that. That's why it's not all black pill. We won last night. Don't let the left trick you into thinking we didn't. Alex McCarthy for 2. Wokes attacked me for my vote pick in my wheelchair. I know, Alex. That's what I'm going to send you from some free merch, man. I got your email. I'm going to send you some shit. Fuck those guys, man. Like, they're fucking assholes. They really are. See if I can find that, Alex. I love all the people that went out and voted in their Patriot Outpost or their RK Outpost merch. I fucking loved it. And look at Alex, my man, who's recovering right now, who's been in therapy, who's been in recovery for a long time to get his ass out of this wheelchair. He's doing great, but he's got a ways to go. Just voted, and with Ryan Kinel representation. Look at 734 likes, bro. Shout out to Alex. And he's obviously worn this a lot and washed this shirt a lot. We're going to get him a new one. We're going to send him a new one because I love when people are rocking my shit. So thank you very much, Alex. You're the best. Spirian for $3. Thumbs up. Thank you, Spirian. JT Gunn for 2. Awesome jacket, bro. Pray for Arizona. You're my thoughts. Kerry Lake is a shoo-in. Kerry Lake's good to go. All right. We just got to get Masters in there. And it's going to be tough, but we'll see where these votes come from. Let me refresh over here really quick. Or is it? All right, we're good to go. With that being said, guys, I have another stream that I think I have to get to. Let me see if Robert's texted me back. I have not heard from Robert yet. As you guys know, I do a Robert Barnes. I'm sure you know him if you watch his channel for political reasons. But me and Robert also do a show on Wednesday nights on Sports Wars called Wednesday, or what do we call it? Against the Spread. And it's every Wednesday night. It's a sports betting show. I also run Sports Wars for Geeks and Gamers. So definitely go check that out if you're interested. I don't know if we're going to stream tonight. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I do have to get ready just in case we do have to stream. Thank you, guys. You're fucking awesome. We will be doing more here on Patriot Outpost. We do have channel memberships. I haven't activated them yet. We got to get some ideas. Get some ideas in My Nerdy Home for channel memberships for some emojis that you guys would like to see here on Patriot Outpost. I think we're just going to do $4.99 channel membership. It's just going to be Patriot. Become a Patriot. That's what we're fucking going to do. Gun Plorazi says t-shirt money for Alex. Dude, thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. And he is the gentleman who made me this sick green lantern. He painted this for me. Custom fucking painted this Green Lantern figure. Hell yes. I love it. I love it. Rumble live streams. Hey, we're live streaming on Rumble right now. We got 29 people watching over on Rumble. So anytime I stream, you can pretty much guarantee anytime I stream my personal channels, we're going to be simulcasting over to Rumble. No doubt about that, unless I do it from a phone or a mobile or something like that. But yes. But yeah, other than that, I think we're going to end it there. This is an energetic stream. I hope you guys understand that even though there's strides to be made, even though there's fucking problems, even though there's some things that are disappointing, this was a good night. And it's, as long as what happens in Arizona, I think is going to happen, it is a good night. Kerry Lake needs to fucking win. We need Kerry Lake in Arizona to clean this shit up and make that become the red state it actually fucking is. There's too much fuckery going on right now. Maricopa County, all this stuff. But I do think it's going to happen. Masters is another question. That's tough. It's tough what he's going to have to overcome, but I think they have the margins to do it as soon as they start rolling out those numbers. Samuel for 2 says one more for the road. Thank you, man. And then Spence for 2, Florida holding it down. Yes, indeed. Florida holding it down. Yes, Octo Tatted. I do think we need that Arizona Senate seat. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Again, we could also pick up that Georgia one. We need one of those. Nevada in the bag. We got Nevada. I ain't worried about Nevada. Arizona or Georgia, we need one. I'm not super confident in Herschel Walker right now based on what we just saw. I'm not. So hopefully things change with that runoff, but I do think the Masters is that best bet to get to 51. We'll see what happens. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being Patriots. Thank you for doing your part to save this fucking country. Hail Florida. Hail Ron DeSantis. A red hurricane came flowing into Florida, and you love to see it. Florida is the future. Florida is all about freedom. Florida is where woke comes to die. Ron DeSantis made absolutely sure of that, and so did all of you putting your votes out there. You guys are fucking awesome. We'll see you more here on Patriot Outpost, and I will talk to all you guys later. Peace.